One, action.
Awesome. So we're in Berlin and there's a massive food crisis because of climate change. The temperature has gone up and we have only a makerspace to survive. So we're working on solving the climate crisis and at the same time trying to figure out how to figure out to be able to grow food in Berlin and survive.
What do we do?
That's the team of people. Let's ask them how to survive.
I think I'm going to start first with the command center. I think the most essential thing is to collect information, to know our community, know the resources that we have, the skills that exist. So finding a command center, whether it's digital or analog, but something where people can input their information, whether it's skill mapping or resource mapping, and then we have the resource coordination. We start deciding together as a community and representatives of the community on how do we deal with these resources. And then having a communication center, and I think this is very, very important, a place that can send out messages, SMS, information about, the current stance of things, but also ask people to act in certain ways in different circumstances. And last thing is people, utilize the skills within the community. Moving on to soil.
Okay, let's start with something very important. Where are we going to grow the food? And that is the soil. What we need to know about Berlin is that it's mainly sand. There's a lot of beautiful water around, but it's sand. So we need to improve the soil in order to be able to grow something and for the water actually to remain in the soil. So what we're going to do is we're going to start composting in every possible creative way. We're going to work in worms, make a cozy environment for them to live in. We're going to use leaves, coffee grounds, and any kind of food waste to improve the soil. And what we can do as well is to use our little friend, the mole. Already brings up a lot of beautiful soil from underneath, and we can just go around and take little mole hills and put them on our flower beds as a very simple tactic to use. So,
really nice. I'm going to continue. Now that we have our soil, of course we have to expand the spaces where we are able to plant things. So we're using the green spaces that we already have in Berlin. We have a lot of parks, which is making Berlin a place that already so many people want to move to. We have parks here, we have parks there, things around the water as well, where we have to use these resources, but also in like daily encounters where we are on the street. There are places all around trees, on the streets, that we can use the soil and plant it in a way and use it in a way to plant vegetables and plant maybe in the long term also plant trees that are having fruits on them. And also because a lot of the infrastructure in terms of like the architecture is kind of organized in rectangles. There are spaces and soils inside these rectangles, and we're aligning the communities around the center of like this resources where we are using them to plant them and to care for them. We were thinking about over-generational attachment to this work. So we have little children, we have people in my age, like their 20s, we have people who are older. So how are we going to allocate all of these knowledges and all of this work? We need to think about that as well, how to connect the maker spaces, basically. Yeah. Who's the next person? Go ahead.
So I don't know if it was said already, but we have to share everything. So we were thinking about sharing the food, of course, of each other, but also most important to reuse what we have. So all the resources, we have to reuse it. And one of them is obviously composting. Composting is very important. And try to find out what are the best crops that we can grow when the climate change is coming. And for example, goat, very important. They are very good animals for very tough conditions. And then we can have some milk products with this, which is not bad for cheese.
I think there are going to be some interesting opportunities for leveraging on what Berlin is known for. The Schreibergarten culture, I think, is established, but I'm more keen on exploring things like the Spätis, which are these stores which Berliners love.
Sell alcohol.
Which sell normally alcohol and other things that are essential to Berlin life. I think turning them... I think yes, they're the only things that are open at like 3 o'clock in the morning where they're like friends. You go and see them and they're always there for you, and they always have what you need. So I think turning them into fermentation places means that they don't just keep the alcohol, they also start growing it. Yeah. So it becomes a place of cultural exchange, but also cultural growth, bacterial cultural growth. Yeah. The convenience.
Life saving infrastructure, 7-Eleven.
Uh-huh.
You have ice cream, you have water, ice, you can send a fax, which is life saving.
Yes. It's essential to Japanese culture. Without the facts, without all the facts, you can't do anything.
Just bring them back.
And I have one last radical idea.
Yeah, go ahead.
I want to make Berghain into Spreewald.
I love it.
Thank you.
Right.
No, we need Fadia.
Fadia, you want to add a little bit?
Sure, do have her.
You already did?
We need you.
Okay. So imagine this is 2050. Berlin has turned into a really difficult place to live. And then hopefully we've explored some different ideas. Of course, this is a very early stage. But the idea is to use physical prototyping like this to have discussions and then to prototype some ideas, imagining ourselves in this future so that we're not surprised by it. We start actively to prepare for it.
And then what do we do with the billionaires?
With the billionaires?
With the billionaires?
The billionaires, we send them to space. They want to go to space.